Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 10 Shed Shenanigans. Today is going to be a little bit different than our normal videos. It's not going to be a, will it run or getting anything really fixed. More of a maintenance video. So let me show you where this is a 2015 Nissan Altima 2.5S, and this is my wife's car and it needs an oil change. So I'm just going to give you a quick how-to on getting an oil change and resetting the oil life on that. If you're not, make sure you like and subscribe this video. Really appreciate it. For these 2.5s, at least the 2015s, the part number for the fuel filter, or for the oil filter rather, from AutoZone, this is the extended life, but the S6607 is just the normal oil filter. I like the XL mainly because they had a sale where you could get 5 quarts of oil, an oil filter, and a cabin air filter all for $44, which is really good because normally the oil by itself is almost $40 and the filter is almost $10. But these Nissans take 0W20 synthetic. I'm using high mileage because the car has 160,000 miles on it. Normally the drain plugs are either 14 or 15 millimeter, but I'm going to show you how to access your filter and everything. And I'm doing this without any kind of ramps or any special equipment to show everybody that you can do this literally anywhere and not need a lift. You don't need ramps, and you just have to get a little dirty, but save yourself some money. So let me get those there's 4 little plastic body clips on there that hold this thing in. So let me get those off and then I'll show you all the filter. Alright guys, like I was saying, I'm going to pull these little clips off. The only way these little clips work is this gets pushed down and it extends out those little claws right there, and it holds this little plastic cover on. They make special pliers and special tools to get those off. Just use a flathead, go all the way around it very gently, don't break it. They're very easy to break, and you can just work them off with a flathead. It's not that hard, just takes a little bit of patience to do those. But now that we got that cover off, we can see right there is our oil filter, right under the crank pulley, which is that only pulley you can see. So the next time I have to change a belt, I'll attempt to do a video, because the last time I did was I was in a parking lot at our old apartment. But I'm gonna grab my oil filter pliers. They make different styles of oil filter wrenches. There's the pliers, there's a band wrench, or like strap wrenches, where it's like kind of as a loop and it goes all the way around the filter and grabs it. I like these for very multi-purpose uses. The band kind are really good for like tight applications. I've got one, but I prefer this, because I can get a better grab for it. So, but that filter, whenever you take your filter off, you want to compare it to your new one. The filter that's on this one is already an AutoZone. It's just not the extended life, so the numbers are the exact same minus the XL. And it's going to make a little bit of a mess right there on the subframe. If I can, there it is. Right there on the subframe right there. So just kind of get something, spray it off, wash it off. That way you don't have, oil dripping. So when you start driving, you don't see oil dripping somewhere and think, oh no, I have a leak. But that's normally what it is. But yeah, I'll get that filter popped off. The drain plug is a 14 millimeter. I'll get that popped off, let the oil drain out. Put the new filter back on, and then start filling up with oil, and then show you how to reset the oil life. All right, real quick, I wanted to mention, now that I got this filter off, get a good angle. So these oil filters, if you see that little black O-ring right around the lip of it right there, occasionally you will have it where the oil filter O-ring wants to stick on the housing. If you don't pull it off, what'll happen is when you put the new oil filter on, it'll have 2 O-rings, and then it'll start to leak. And it'll be spraying oil everywhere, and you risk damaging your engine if you don't catch it in time. You're going to make a massive mess. You're going to soak your belt in oil, and that'll make it squeal. So always check right around there for the old O-ring. If it's not there, just wipe it off, make sure there's no dirt or anything, and then stick your new filter on. If there is, make sure you pull that O-ring off. Okay, so like I was saying, S6607 XL, and that one's S6607. That's just not the XL. Normally on an oil change, you'd want to pre-fill your oil filter. But if you look, that one's sticking straight on its side like this. So pre-filling, it's not gonna do anything. But you also wanna make sure that you put fresh oil, a little bit on, not a whole lot, just a little film on the O-ring and put some oil on the threads. That way everything will go on smooth. It'll help seal a little bit better rather than just being dry, because if it's a dry rubber seal on that metal, it'll snag and it could want to kink, and that'll cause leaks. So I'll get a little bit of fresh oil in that and get this, you know, a little bit on threads, a little bit on there. And when you're putting a new oil filter on, do not, you know, don't use your pliers and just like snug it down really hard, because then it's gonna be a nightmare to get off. You put it on hand tight, give the, you know, pliers or filter wrench, whatever you got, and you just give it a little snug. There's actually instructions on your filter that'll tell you, you know, wipe everything clean, put a little fresh oil, put it on hand tight plus 3/4 of a turn. So I never go the 3/4 of a turn just because they're such small filters and everyone's hand tight is very different. So my hand tight is nowhere near what my brother's hand tight is. So, you know, it kind of varies. So you just kind of, you feel for it. As long as you can't untwist it with your hand, once you get it on there, you're okay. Okay, so we got a new filter on. Like I said, just hand tight and then just a little extra. Oil's finishing up draining now. You know, as you see, I don't have ramps, don't have a lift, nothing like that, nothing fancy. It's a 14 millimeter, and I used, where'd my ratchet go? It's probably still down there. I couldn't get enough leverage on it to loosen it, so I just used a little small piece of pipe, broke it loose, got my hand under there, and, you know, got it the rest of the way. This video is very much not like the rest of, you know, 10 Shed Shenanigans. This is a very more informational than, you know, anything, more than entertainment, just because, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to change their oil and, you know, want to learn, or they're scared to learn. It's not that hard. Just, you know, takes a little effort, a little getting dirty, and you can, you know, just do it yourself, save a couple bucks, and then you have the feeling of, well, you know, I did that, and that's good. You should be proud of yourself when you do something like this. You know, when you maintain your own vehicle, or you maintain anything that you know, that has a motor, and anything that you own that you maintain and you take care of, you should be very proud that, you know, like, hey, I'm keeping that going. So I'm gonna let that oil finish draining, and then I'll put the drain plug back in and start filling it up with oil, and then show you how to reset it. All right, guys, so we got the plug back in. I left the little cover off just so that way we can see if anything's leaking whenever we fire it up, which is, you know, what you want to do. You want to make sure you don't have anything loose or anything leaking. Easiest way to pour a 5-quart jug like this is just tilt it on its side, and that helps get all the air pockets out when you're pouring, so it doesn't go bloop, 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 bloop like the water jugs in all the Office movies. These cars hold 5 quarts of oil. I'm going to put about 4 in, or I'm going to put it right to the full line. So you pour some. There's about 2 quarts left. You clean off your dipstick. It's always going to be either a yellow or orange handle, something very bright. If you look, we're not even at the low line yet. So we'll add about another quart. You just don't want to overfill it too much, because when you start it, it's going to suck some of that down. You don't want to have it, you know, super full. That way, because, you know, you don't ever want to overfill the system. All right. We're about halfway up to that full line. Pour in a little more. Wipe this off. All right, we're just about at that full line. In a little bit more. So we're right there at that full line now. Now what you want to do, leave everything like this. We'll actually take the funnel out and put your filler cap back on. And then we're going to go reset the oil life and then crank it a few times and then let it idle. Okay, so on these Nissans that are push button start, what you'll do not put your foot on the brake, hit it one time, hit it a second time. Copyright strike. You'll have all of this. The wheel is turned right now because I've got it cocked over. What you'll do is you'll go to your settings with this little button right here. You'll go to settings and you'll go down to maintenance with the little scroller, hit enter. You'll go service, scroll down, hit reset, and there you go, it's reset. That's really all it takes to reset this, is hit this till you hit settings, scroll down till you see vehicle settings, hit it, hit maintenance, scroll down to reset. All right, so we got everything checked. Put the little cover back on. Remember, it's just these 4 little body clips. There's 2 on the inner fender right here and right there. And then one there and one there. Just make sure the little tab's out, push them on, click the tab in. We'll recheck the oil level. I can find a good place to prop y'all up. Go. All right, we're almost at full. And this thing takes 5 quarts, and I still have maybe a third of a quart left because, I was leaving room for that filter to be filled up. So we'll pop. Oh, man, I put that on tight. There we go. Take the fill cap back off. Put our funnel back in. The no spill way. We'll pour a little more oil in. And recheck it. Probably just gonna take the rest of the 5 quarts because these things hold 5 quarts. You'll pour in. If you hear crying in the background, that is my son, who is not very happy about being inside because he wants to help me with an oil change, but he cannot walk yet. So he has not quite figured that out yet. All right, wipe this clean. And we're right there at that little full dot. There's 2 dots, one's low, one's high, and the high is full. We're right there at it. All right, put this back on. Wipe up this little oil drip right here. And guys, that's how you change the oil and reset the oil life on a 2015 Altima with the 2.5 liter engine. Make sure you like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.